Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. It has been a very, very long time, but Canadian Bowler is back and glad to be here with you today. I'm Michael Patulli, joined by the Dreamboat Daryl Fitzgerald. How you doing, Daryl?
I'm doing good, Mike. How are you?
Well, I'm pretty good. It's a nice day here in Saskatchewan, early September. Got some great weather going recently here. It's been a heat wave, oddly enough, but it's nice to be home. I've seen you twice, I think, since the last time we did a show together, which was probably a weird thing to be able to say, but me and you've seen each other twice because I had 2 trips to Ontario within the last month and a half here. So it's been a pretty hectic little while for both of us, really, hasn't it?
It has, and that's probably an understatement for the two of us. And I mean, you've been putting the bowler in Canadian Bowler, and I've been running around outside of Canada and also within, going to check out the Canadians. So yeah, lots and lots and lots of stuff going on. Just really glad to be back.
Yeah, no, you definitely were putting the Canadian in Canadian Bowler. I think Rob Gallipo made that joke to us, and we both liked it. Where I'm the bowler, the Canadian bowler, and you're definitely the Canadian, be it running around with Team Canada there. So it was a pretty good one there. I guess before we really get into it, just a quick reminder, if you're here today, to hit that like button. Any sort of interaction helps us out. So like, comment, subscribe. Anything you can here today helps us out. If you aren't able to catch us live, we will be up on YouTube within the day. And usually within the week, we're up on every major podcasting platform. So you can check us out however you use the internet there, I guess. Lots to cover today, so we might as well get into it, Daryl, hey?
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you want to start?
Well, we might as well start with the Canadian Championships.
All right.
Those are probably our money makers. So in the last month and a half that we've been away, there's been multiple Canadian Championships. So there's been the juniors and the U25s along with the majors. And I guess in a couple of weeks here, we got the rest of that schedule being completed with the mixed pairs, parables, and then the seniors. So
absolutely,
let's pass on some results here.
All right.
So this is the men's fours. This was the event I played in and happened to finish 6th place. So if we're going to go for 3rd place, there was Saskatchewan B, which was Carter Watson, Brandon Watson, Daryl Hanoski, and Pat Schlatter. 2nd place was Team Nova Scotia, which was Braden Campbell, Ray McDonald, John Seitman, and Liam Campbell. And then the gold medal team was Team Alberta, which was Pat Bird, Francis Standen, Mike O'Reilly, and John McDonald.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
I was getting a little confused there with all the Johns and the names there. But yeah, no, that was a great tournament. I was part of it. I enjoyed my time in the fours there. Really, those 3 teams played very well all week, so pretty deserving to see the 3 of them on the podium. Specifically, that Alberta team, I think, was undefeated, so They played very well all week. Pat was absolutely incredible. Like, I don't want to tell everyone on air here what the score was in our game, but they may have been down by roughly 18 points against us, and they ended up winning the game. So that shows how gritty they were. They clawed back against us, and I know a couple other teams, and Pat specifically bowled really well. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, and you've got I can't say enough about that Alberta team. They they ran the gauntlet and then made it through to the finals and won the finals. So very, very deserving. But really nice to see some young new faces on that podium with the Watson brothers. I know Braden and Liam, the brother pair over on that side, were really excited, and obviously friend of the show John Seitman was just over the moon to be on that podium as well. So really, really cool.
Yeah, big congratulations to John on his first medal at the major nationals. I know he was pretty jazzed up, and looks like he's in our chat already too. So congrats to you, John, and I think you're playing singles out there in Nova Scotia today, so good luck. So if we move on, we got the men's pairs. So the men's pairs, we had the old Wiley veterans, Steve Ogden and Steve Bezanson, winning once again. I believe this was their 4th pairs title. So they ended up having to play a tiebreaker game in the morning, and they took out the 3rd place team there, Earl and was it Paul? Paul and Earl?
Paul and Earl, yep. Earl Luck and Paul Lee, yep.
So they took them out in the morning in a tiebreaker game. And then in the final, 2nd place there was Greg Wilson and Derek Dillon. So very good game. I watched that one pretty closely, the final. It was really down to the last bowl. I think Greg had a trail he could have made to win the game and just came a little bit wide on his shot. So it was a very good game to watch. That tournament was very close. There's 3 or 4 teams. I think there's actually maybe 5 teams that were kind of pretty tightly packed near the top of the leaderboard there. So that was, again, a really competitive field.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of these guys are back at it. Not quite like the fours, so good to see these guys back in action after a couple of years. And you see these guys in and about the top 4 or 5 in most of the things that they play. So definitely good teams to have there.
Yeah, no, I can't speak more highly of those teams. If we go on to the singles here, do you want to? I'll let you take this one. Who won the singles here?
Pat Bird from Alberta, raising that trophy there. I mean, what can you say? Pat had an amazing 2 weeks, going undefeated in the fours, getting the gold medal in the fours, and then basically running the gauntlet here in the singles and getting the singles gold. So congratulations to Pat. Huge showing there. And then we have 2 of my buddies from my club, believe it or not, in Ontario. Mike Wagner got the silver, and Mike McNorton got the bronze. 4th was Kerry Lucier, but really cool to see 2 of my club members up there. I'm gonna have a challenge if I ever go into singles to get through that, because obviously we've got some really good players out here. So
yeah, I watched a lot of those games on the live stream, and for very tight heads, specifically in the last few rounds, like the quarterfinals, semifinals, and on. Whenever they were showing it, it was actually quite impressive and pretty good showing by Ontario, as you're saying. I think there was 4 of them, and I think McCarahan was in the quarterfinals too. So I think it would have been 5 or 4 Ontario of the final 8 was 4 of the final 8 was people from Ontario. So it was a pretty good showing by the host province, to say the least.
Absolutely, yeah. Quality bowls all around. It was fun to watch. For anybody that didn't watch it, I suggest if you see a stream up from Bulls Canada, they're doing a great job. Getting some really good commentary on there. Go and take a look and support that, because your support is what keeps those streams going.
Yeah, no, I agree that's the Dream by Bulls Canada was actually really good. I do have to give them a shout out. It was quite well done. I enjoyed it very much. So we move on to the ladies. I'll let you handle this one here.
All right. Gold. We have Nova Scotia, Tammy Foster-Vigneault, Jackie Foster, Debbie Foster, and Lorraine Bezanson. Silver, Jean Roney, Jordan Koss, Heather Hanoski, and Tracy McPherson. And in the bronze, Ontario A, Val McWilliams, Pat Kostecki, and Cheryl McBain and Kathy Smith. This was really interesting to watch. I don't think anybody went through undefeated, if I remember, but some really good games in the women's fours. And congratulations to the Foster family and Lorraine Bezanson for grabbing that. It's their first medal, I believe, and it's gold. So that's just an awesome accomplishment. And seeing Jean Roney back at it, I mean, Wiley vet in with Jordan, who's the hot youngster playing. So that team was really fun to watch. And Ontario A, home province, doing their province proud, getting that bronze medal as well.
Yeah, like for me being around the nationals for roughly the last decade, I think that Foster team has probably been there at least 5 or 6 times. And as you're saying, I think they may have won a bronze medal at one point, if my memory serves me correctly. But as we're kind of going over here, they've been there a lot, and they've always kind of been in contention, but maybe not quite pulling it off. So it was very nice to actually see them make the final, and then they bowled absolutely great in the final and deserved it. So all the congratulations in the world to them. It was awesome to see them win one.
And shout out to all the bowlers that changed into their flip flops before the pictures. Those sock tans are just on point for lawn bowls.
So, and we move on to the ladies pairs. So in the ladies pairs, we had in third place Jen McDonald and Joanna Cooper from Alberta. And then we had Alex's favorite team from our pick before nationals, Betty Van Wallingham and Elaine Jones. And then gold from Ontario, Elizabeth Cormack and Crystal Shepherd.
Really, really cool matches. The pairs was fun to watch too.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And when we made our prediction show before the nationals, I was sort of the one that said Elaine and Betty can't really be counted out. And Alex predicted that Elaine was probably going to come and kick him in the ankles. And I can confirm he was kicked in the ankles. It was pretty comical. On the practice day, she came over and had some words with Alex, but she definitely proved him wrong. Very good results from them. They played well all week, but that Ontario team was incredibly formidable. They played great in the final. Like Elizabeth made a couple really big conversion shots, and then Crystal's just incredibly steady there on the front end. So really those three teams were the top of the pile all week, because I think Joanna and Jen there, I think they were 7-3, or like they had a really good record to not make the gold medal game. That's just how top end all three of those teams played really well all week.
Yeah, I do have to say that every time I saw Elaine and Betty put another win on the board, I had to smile and think about the predictions. It was great. So congratulations to all of them. It was fantastic.
And then the ladies singles, I'll let you handle this one too, Daryl.
All right. I have to find my notes. Where's my notes? Ladies singles. In fourth place, we had Anne Morissette from Quebec. Women's bronze went to Joanna Cooper from Alberta. Women's silver went to Jan Robinson from Alberta. And the gold went to Jordan Koss from Saskatchewan. Great field for the ladies. It was really nice to see Anne from Quebec come out and represent. You don't hear too much from Quebec, and we're never quite sure who's going to be there until the names are entered into the Canadians, because we don't see a lot of updates on their provincial stuff. So it was really cool to see them, and she got into the bronze medal game. Alberta representing, they've got a great program out there with their coaching and development program, and Joanna and Jan in there making some waves. But I guess, probably some people's pick, some people's favorite, probably right from the start, Jordan taking down the women's gold.
Yeah, no, I think Jordan would have had Alex and me had a little extra time and made a singles prediction. I think probably would have been amongst our picks there, would have been Jordan, because I think this is her third time she'd made the final for the singles. I believe she'd lost twice to Mary Wright in the final, so she finally got that cat off her back, so to speak, and finally won her first singles title. So I know that's really important to her, and congratulations to her, because it's nice to win gold, and I think to lose the Fords final 4 days or however many days before, she probably was pretty motivated, and it definitely showed with her bowling during the singles there.
100%. It was really interesting to see how she would rebound. I mean, she's one of those out there that was bowling a ton. She did the Commonwealth Games before that, came home, came out to the Canadians, did the fours, and then did the singles. So that's a lot of bowling. That's a lot of time spent away from home, and she battled it out and took it down. So yeah, awesome for Jordan. Great field for the women's singles, fun to watch as well. Really, just congratulations to all the winners. It was a good representation.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. It was terrific all across the board, just the nationals in general, to be able to see everyone getting out again and playing. And some of the people coming from Com Games, I can't comprehend how they were able to pull that off, especially if they played singles, because few day break and then you throw yourself into another 2 weeks of bowling. It's exhausting. I was exhausted when I got home from playing 4 days or 5 days of fours. So just it's crazy to be back, but it's great to be back at the same time.
I can honestly say I went out to watch a couple of days the weekend, kind of the tail end of the pairs and the fours, and just sitting there watching in the sun, I was exhausted. So I can't imagine what people were like when they were playing. That's crazy.
And I guess I'll throw a shameless plug in here. Alex and mine's prediction show. We hope people enjoyed sort of our different take or thing that we did there, where we did some predictions, sort of brought some information about the nationals out. I believe, to sort of let a cat out of the bag, you might see something coming out soon where we're gonna talk about our predictions and see if we actually were boneheads or not. So keep an eye out for that. There's probably gonna be some more content coming out fairly shortly, and we look forward to doing more stuff like that in the future. Alex and I both enjoyed it, and I think it's something that we'll continue to do and sort of bring some more hype to the game and sort of keep people talking all year round.
And that's really what we're trying to do out here. We give you these results and everything, but we also want to have discussion about who's competing and where and how they're doing, and have some discussion about how provinces are doing and the up and comers and those that are at the top of their game right now. It's always fun to talk about who's the best out there, and who thinks they're better than everybody else. I mean, I haven't been bowling, so it's fun to talk about it rather than me going out and competing against people too.
Yeah, it's nice to be an armchair quarterback rather than actually having to be in
Right.
the line of fire. Okay, I guess let's keep moving along here. We also have junior and U25 results to go over.
All right. Got some pictures here from the youth. Obviously some coaching, which is really important. It's really good to see coaches out there doing their thing with the under 25 and under 18. I can't emphasize that enough. The sooner that they get coaching, the sooner that they have that interaction, the easier it is to keep doing that going forward. Some really cool photos from Port Credit, where the championships were held. Some really good games, some really top end bowling. You had some really competitive games out there. There's our boy John Sightman. I'm guessing giving distance of what the bowl is to the jack. Rob Gallipo, always hard at work under bowls. One of the guys at Port Credit that keeps things going. Also the mastermind behind the Phoenix Championship of Bowls. So he's always working, doing something. There's the nice under 25 women's and 25 men's and the Forster Lang pairs trophies. And now we can get to the results. So we'll start with the under 18s. So the under 18 boys, gold went to Logan Saunderson from BC. Silver went to Lauren Wong. Bronze went to Gannon Stainer. And fourth went to Decker Lai. And for the girls under 18, gold went to Kira Shiloh. You can see her there in the Alberta shirt. Silver went to Taryn Mitchell. Bronze to Ella Conlon. And fourth to Ella Hammond. Ooh, two Ellas. There you go. Under 25 men. My boy. Gold goes to Owen Kirby. He had a great run out there from Ontario. Silver went to Brad Roden from Alberta. Bronze went to Xavier Stainer from Ontario, and fourth went to Curtis Wortman. In the under 25 women, gold went to Amy Spence from PEI. You don't hear that too often. So really, really cool to see that. Silver went to Alexis Gallagher from Alberta. Bronze went to Delilah Stainer from Ontario. And fourth went to Emily Smith.
Yeah, John Seitman already in the chat beating us to the punch. I was going to drop some knowledge on y'all. Amy Spence would have been the first champion from PEI since 1992.
Wow, yeah.
So I am literally I was born in 1992, so I'm 30 years old. So it's been 30 years since there was a national champion from PEI. So that is incredible, and that is awesome to see that someone from PEI is bowling at a high level. That was where my first junior nationals was in 2007, I think. So it's a great club. I know it's still going out there, and that's where Amy bowls out of. So congratulations to her, and to Owen. Still has terrible taste in his favorite football team or soccer team from Europe there, but he's an absolutely terrific bowler. And then the juniors there. It's always cool to see the new kids coming up, because they really are going to be the future, as generic of a saying as that is. They're a couple of years from now, we're going to be probably seeing their names in the U25s, and I'd bet you even seeing them at nationals.
I would say that for sure. And really cool. They get to go over to Belfast in Ireland. It's going to be interesting. They compete on the indoor. So we transition from an outdoor championship to an indoor, but they get a chance to go to the World Championship for the youth in Belfast, which is really, really cool. If you do see Amy or Owen out there, I believe that they will have some raffle tickets to try to fundraise for their trips over there, and I think you get to win a set of bowls and some other cool stuff, part of their sponsorship from Dan Milligan at MVP. Through Bowls Canada. So yeah, you know, they're going to be looking to try to fund their way to Belfast. So if you're out there and you see them, make sure you give them a helping hand.
Yeah, definitely. Any sort of help they can get is going to help them out. I think it's December they go, so good luck to them when they head out in December over to Belfast. I know there'll be a great experience for both of them, but all the best.
Really cool.
I guess if we're doing one more plug for the remaining nationals that we currently have, we have mixed pairs and the para championships, first ever Canadian para championships, coming in Windsor, Ontario, from I believe it's like the 11th to about the 20th or 21st, if we're kind of talking that whole period. So the para bowls is from the 11th to the 17th. And then the mixed pairs would be from the 18th to about the 21st or the 22nd, somewhere in that range. So that's in Windsor, Ontario. If you are in the Ontario area and want to check it out, I would highly recommend it. Pretty strong fields, specifically the mixed pairs. There's some pretty good teams that I've seen qualify. So it'll be exciting to see those different teams play. And then I personally was quite excited to see the para championships get up and going.
Yeah.
I know there wasn't as high of an uptake as they probably wanted, but considering it's the first time it's happening in Canada, I think it's kind of going to be the first step to maybe growing it next year and the years down the road. Maybe some baby steps per se, something like that. But I think it's a great thing to see it finally be there and be the option there, so that clubs can actually start actively pursuing people that are para bowlers and sort of bringing them into the fold, because it's, I think, a demographic that Canada hasn't really pursued at all, really over ever. And it's going to be good to see a championship is there for them, and they do have that outlet to go and play at a para championship every year now.
Yeah, really cool. I'm excited. I know Don Caswell over in the Commonwealth Games, he's obviously down in Windsor. He was in talking to, watching everything about para bowls at the Commonwealth Games, trying to soak in as much information as he could about, you know, wheelchair styles and what they do for the greens and how the players actually train and perform and do all that stuff. So you kudos to him for going and getting that information. And I know that Windsor is really excited to put on both of those events for sure.
Well, I guess you, in passing there, just mentioned probably what we should maybe bring up as our next topic. It was a while back, but Daryl disappeared for a while because he went to the Commonwealth Games with Team Canada. So
right.
Let's talk about the Commonwealth Games, Daryl.
All right, quickly, I'll go through the results and give you the results, and then I can throw up some pictures and we can talk about Canada specifically and how they performed. But Commonwealth Games, men's fours, Northern Ireland won the gold. Marty McHugh, Ian McClure, Adam McEwen, and Sam Barkley. It was two vets with two really young guys. Really cool to see. Typical Northern Ireland. You could hear them wherever they were because they were just down like this close to the bowl, face down, yelling at it. So I mean, definitely exciting. Really fun to watch. India got bronze, which is silver, which is huge. Chandan Kumar Singh, Dinesh Kumar, Navdeep Singh, and Sunil Ahadur. Hopefully I didn't butcher any of those names. And then bronze went to England, Sam Tolchard, Jamie Chesney, Nick Brett, and Lewis Rideout. Men's pairs, we've got back-to-back gold medalists from 2018 to now. Wales, Danny Salmon and Jared Breen. Jared is the new partner, but Danny was part of both of those gold medal teams from both of the last Commonwealth Games. Silver went to England, Sam Tolchard and Jamie Walker, and then bronze went to Alex Marshall and Paul Foster. Men's triples, England had a fantastic run. Jamie Chesney, Nick Brett, and Lewis Rideout. Silver went to Australia, Carl Healy, Ben Twist, and Barry Lester. And then Wales got the bronze, Owen Dando, Ross Owen, and Jonathan Tomlinson. And then the singles in the men's went Australia, Aaron Wilson for gold, Northern Ireland, Gary Kelly for silver, and then Ian McLean for bronze from Scotland. You may have seen some shirtless pictures of Aaron as he ran around the green after winning that gold medal.
Yep, that was one of the, I guess, signature moments of the Commonwealth Games was Aaron winning, I think, the first gold medal for Australia on a Northern Hemisphere green in over 20 years at a Commonwealth Games. So that would be a pretty special moment for him and Australia in general. So congrats to everybody there. Honestly, it was fun to watch the coverage that was available for those different games. Like I think that fours final was there, and exactly how you described it, that Irish team was entertaining to watch, to say the least. They were very animated and pretty much right on top of the bulls as they're coming into the head. Never really seen that before, but it was very fun to watch it and all the coverage that was there for the Com Games.
I'll just one correction. Ellen Ryan was actually the first because women's singles ran a little earlier. So she was actually the first Australian to win gold in the Northern Hemisphere. So
I said men's.
Oh, men's gold. Okay.
Because the women, they won in 2014. So
True.
If you're fact checking me over here, the men hadn't won a gold since I think Kuala Lumpur. So it had been a very long time for the Australian men's team. Sorry.
Okay. I'll just turn off my camera here. Hold on. I can go with women's fours. Huge shift in the women's fours. So India winning their first gold medal. Massive for the sport, I think, and massive for them over in India. Lovely Chubi, Rupa Renu, Turkey, Pinky, and she only goes by one name on the board, Pinky, and then Mayamuni Saikia, and I probably butchered some of those. Silver went to South Africa, Bridget Kalitz, Esme Kruger, Tabelo Muvhango, and Joanna Snyman. And then New Zealand picked up the bronze, Val Smith, Selena Goddard, Tyler Bruce, and Nicole Toomey. Women's pairs, Australia, Ellen Ryan and Christina Christic gold. England, Amy Farrow and Sophie Tolchard silver. And New Zealand, Caitlin Inch and Selena Goddard bronze. Women's triples, England won gold with Cyan Honor, Natalie Chesney and Jamie Lee Winch. Malaysia, Noor Ain, Nabila Tarmizi, Sayafika Haider Afif Abdul Rahman, and Azlina Arshad. I probably really butchered those. Sorry about that. And then bronze went to New Zealand, Val Smith, Tyler Bruce, and Nicole Toomey. Women's singles, Australia, Ellen Ryan gold. Guernsey, Lucy Beer silver. And Malaysia, Siti Zelina Ahmad bronze. And then in the para, I don't have the names for these, but in the para B2, B3, Scotland won gold, Wales won silver, England won bronze. Para men's pairs, the B6, B8, Scotland won gold, Australia won silver, England won bronze. And then in the para women's pairs, B6, B8, Scotland won gold, Australia won silver, and South Africa won bronze. So Scotland ran the para for all the gold, which is crazy. And really good results from all over the place.
Yeah, no, it was quite interesting. If you look at, I guess specifically, you touched on it, India. Really, those are incredible results for India, a country that I believe really started bowling roughly 2008, I think, is around when that association started, when they started gearing up for hosting in Delhi in 2010. So a country that's been bowling for roughly 15 years ish, we'll say, and to have both of their teams win a gold and a silver medal, I know that's incredible for them as a country, and they were very excited. I could see amongst the fans and everybody that they're watching that it was a very exciting moment for them. Also, like the Australian gold medals for Ellen Ryan there. If you can find the video of the final shot of the pairs, it's worth watching.
It is.
She picks a bowl for the win, and the celebration ensues immediately after. So there's quite a few moments from that that whole women's collection there at the Commonwealth Games that are great to watch. The one for me that kind of falls under the radar there was the New Zealand team kind of picking up, I think it was 3 bronze medals.
Yeah.
Specifically, I think it was Val Smith was skipping 2 different teams, and that's Val's won lots of medals at the Commonwealth Games because I think she's been to 3 or 4 for New Zealand in the past, and she's won medals at multiple Commonwealth Games now. So that was another cool story to see, is the multiple medals there. And just in general, it was fun to watch that the whole thing develop, that pairs game, that women's pairs final. If you're able to find it on the rewatch, I watched it live through the coverage. It's a great game to watch. It's absolutely incredible. Straight to the finish, as I said, they're picking a bowl for the win. Like it's probably one of the best couple hours of entertainment you can ask for from a bowls game. So if you're able to find it on YouTube, wherever, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I would second that. It was a really entertaining game for sure. I'm going to throw up some pictures here. The venue, so you can see all the greens there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all in a row in front of the club and beside the club. They had them looking great at the beginning of the event. This is obviously early on. You can kind of see the brown where the centers are. It was definitely looking a lot different after the entire event had run through, just because tons and tons of people, tons of games every single day going through it. The green gets a little stressed, but really cool. Another view from the other side, they had the big screen for the TV rink, or the TV rink, and then they had another smaller screen kind of down the way for people to watch as well, and they posted up scores and all that kind of stuff. So it was really cool. Team Canada standing in front of the hashtag sign. They had a lot of really cool stuff. The whole venue was awesome. This is us at one of the clubs we went to practice ahead of time, before we actually got into the to the main venue. This guy and some of the players just chatting as we're out practicing, getting ready for pictures. Some really good pictures of the boys here. Girls playing Scotland. John giving some instruction, and the men's fours as they're playing. John Bazier, Greg Wilson, and Rob Law in the back there. Nice picture of Ryan ripping one. And we're back to the start. Really cool venue, really good event. I mean, it's what every bowler who wants to get to the national team, where they want to go. It is the event of all events. If you actually get to play in it, it can be a struggle when you're in there, because it's long days, big games, lots of pressure, all that kind of stuff. But definitely, if you're thinking about going to the national team, that's where you want to be, because it is awesome to be there. As far as Canada's results go, Mike, do you have any thoughts on that? And then I can talk about it.
Like, if I was being completely honest with you, I think just like any other Canadian lawn bowling team fan, the results would have been a little disappointing, on the disappointing side. We went through all the results there, and as you would probably gather, Canada did not win a single medal, which is disappointing. We made the knockout rounds in, I think it was men's fours and singles. Yep. And our ladies teams did not make a knockout game, I don't believe. So it was pretty disappointing across the board. I know that they had a lot of tough fields, specifically a couple of them, like I think Jordan in her singles pool would have had the gold and silver medalist in her pool.
That's right. Yep.
That shows you sort of sometimes your pool isn't exactly advantageous for you. But again, it is the Com Games, as you're saying. It's a very pressure-filled location for anyone to go to. Like, it's really the top end of the bowls world. So they, I'm sure, did better than the results would kind of indicate to you. Someone like me, just looking at win-loss, you don't get the full picture sometimes. But still proud of how the teams went out there and did their best. It's just obviously a little disappointing as just a fan here from my perspective.
Yeah, and I mean, I think any of the athletes and those involved would also say it was disappointing. We always are aiming for medals. We're always aiming to get into the quarterfinals and then the semifinals and forward, and give ourselves a chance. And we just fell short in some cases. Ryan struggled in his final game against Ian, which was tough to see. He had a great run to get into the quarters, and just falling short there. The men's pairs had some good games. Obviously, there was some really bad games. One of them was televised, so I'm sure some people saw that one. The England men's triples game was not great to watch. But what I can say is, for anybody out there, the players give everything that they have. They are working to train themselves for this event. They go out there when we land, and we train. We do match play. We get accustomed to the green, and everything was looking good. Hit some speed bumps, and this is the way that stuff kind of shook out. As you said, Jordan had 2 killers in her group. She actually took Ellen for a really good game and had chances to win. But yeah, Ellen and Lucy Beer, top class. That's why they were in the gold medal game against each other. I actually had Lucy Beer pegged to win the gold early on. She just fell short, but she was playing phenomenal. Men's fours had some huge games, and they just fell short against India to get through to the semis. that was another good game, and they had their chances. Sometimes you just come out on the wrong end of that. Something like women's pairs that I was watching, sometimes you hit the wrong team at the wrong time. They played Brunei and lost, and Brunei played probably the best game that I've ever seen a Brunei team play in my entire time seeing that. It was a back and forth game, and they just fell short, but Brunei, I had to take my hat off to them. They played better than I've ever seen anybody from that country play. So kudos to them. And then they ran into buzzsaws in that final game against Australia. Christina Kristic was unbelievable in that game. Probably the best game I saw her play that whole event, even if I was to include the gold medal game. And Ellen was Ellen. I think she was just on her game from start to finish. She had some slip-ups and let some games get a little too far in, but she always closed them out, as she does. Making shots and a hell of a drive on her too. So there's lots of good stuff to take away. Lots of stuff that the team is obviously going to work on and discuss. And all I can say is they put their hearts into this, and I can tell you they are more disappointed than anybody else could possibly be. They know they had their chances. They know what they need to do. And right now we're just in that reflection period of what didn't go right, what can we do better, and how do we fix it going forward. We're obviously under pressure because we're right into another selection period, getting ready for World Bowls. So that's within a year, and that's really tough as well. So I'll just give a shout out to our trolls. I usually don't give the trolls any air, but there's people out there that want to jump on when people do bad. And I feel for the players because they're the ones that sometimes have to read these social media posts, the keyboard warriors out there trying to make their point that everybody was wrong but them, and everything should be blown up and start again. But I can tell you, these players put their hearts into it. And I can't be more proud of them, even with the big losses. I guess that's my take on it anyway.
Yeah,
maybe biased.
Well said. Like I can't really argue with what you're saying there. The keyboard warriors are not helpful in a lot of these situations. It's great to be the person who can sit back and essentially be like, yeah, you should have done better, and maybe they could have, but in the end they are putting their lives into this. A lot of the countries they're playing against are borderline professional lawn bowlers, and it's a different situation when you kind of look at some of these different countries, essentially like a Malaysia type of thing where they pretty much are lawn bowling all the time, and that's kind of their government job. But I know they might be able to use this as motivation going forward. I know that's a lot of things bowlers can use. I specifically have used a lot of my biggest disappointments as motivation for me in the future, because I think a lot of the players probably are going to do that going forward here, use that as a motivation and hopefully build from what was a disappointment in their mind and maybe move forward and maybe have some good results, maybe at the next big event is, the Worlds going forward.
Yep, absolutely.
Cameron in the chat is sending a shout out to Daryl and all the support staff for the work they put in. So I'll give a shout out to the Canadian and the Canadian bowler for all the hard work he puts in on coaching the national team, along with what I guess there was Terry and Don were also there. So yep. A lot of work from all three of you guys. So a shout out to you guys for the hard work you do on the national team as well.
It was a great event. And like you said, there's a lot of learning to happen, and that'll happen. There's reports coming in from the players and from the coaches, and lots of stuff to dissect and go over. But I can say, from my perspective, we had a great run in 2018 at the Gold Coast. The women did phenomenal, and the men did pretty good. We were hoping to take another step up. Obviously, we didn't do that, but there's a lot of countries out there that are getting better. India is a huge plus. I even saw some really good improvement from some of the smaller places like Cook Islands and Brunei. To talk about it, Kenya's been playing a lot more. It's interesting to watch some of these players, and you see them, say 2018, and you watch some of these players play, and you think like, okay, they're a little out of their depth. They don't know what they're doing. They're kind of getting stomped out there, and then come this time around, 4 years later, it's a different person out there. I really want to highlight one person in particular. There's a young kid, and I can't remember his name, but he's from Niue, and he was 14, I believe, and he was playing there, and he played singles against guys like Gary Kelly, Ryan Bester, and the kid was good. I mean, he was out of his depth and made some bad decisions, and over the length of the game, usually the guys like Ryan Bester just won outright because they could keep it up for a length of time. But this kid's got some talent, so I won't be surprised if in 4 years he's in contention somewhere if he keeps at it. Just phenomenal.
Yeah, no, that's another cool story. I didn't realize that was the age of the contestant there from Niue. So it's always interesting to see, as you're saying, the development. I'm sure 4 years from now, you might even we'll be able to report back on some of these players, see if they've further developed and see where their sort of progression goes 4 years from now. I guess before we move on from Com Games, John Seitman trying to fact check me in our chat there. I can confirm that Australia won a silver medal at the 2014 Commonwealth Games for the ladies triples. So boom, 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 John. I was right. So sorry, I just had to do that. Anyways, for moving forward, I think we have a few more things we wanted to pass along before we wrapped up for the day.
Yes. The Phoenix?
Yeah, let's move on to that. So the Phoenix was right before the Nationals. When I was in Ontario, I had the pleasure of playing it. It was an experience.
You're in the background there.
Probably that is me sitting on the bench. Yes, so that's correct. So yeah, the Phoenix is there. I quite enjoyed the new format. It's definitely a change up on a traditional game of bowls. So if you ever do get a chance to play it, I highly recommend it. This is the Ultimate End winners. So that's Ryan Stadnick and Jack Fowler. They won. Is it the team that gets the most ultimate ends? Is that how it works? They won that, or?
Yeah, so they get all the points. Yeah, and they did really well and played really well. And they get a little prize pack from our sponsors at Wellington Brewery. So good on them.
And then if we move on, second place was Dave Llewellyn and his son Ben Rockman. So they played quite well all through the day, got to the final there, and they ended up losing in the final to the winners, Mike McNorton and Owen Kirby. So congratulations to them. It was a fun day at the Heritage Greens. And I can't say enough about the Phoenix Bulls Championship. I believe they have their last event of the season coming up. Is it next weekend, Daryl?
Yeah, September 17th will be sort of that grand finale. I think it's $100 a team. Make sure you get your teams in there. It's a fun event. It's a full day of bowls. I mean, you play some short games, but you play a lot of games. And if you're not, just come out and watch. It's a fun day, and I think you'll really enjoy yourself.
Yeah, it's one of the fastest playing formats I think I've ever played in, and the game can literally swing in one end. So it's really fun, and you can never really count yourself out when playing in the Phoenix. So if you do have that opportunity, definitely check it out. See if it's something you can get yourself in before the end of the year here. Absolutely. So other results we wanted to pass, I think it was just this week, the Golden Nugget occurred in Australia. So we had Golden Nugget singles is one of the biggest events in Australia each year. It's singles played up to 25 points, so a little different than anything we see out here, but pretty much the who's who gets invited to that tournament, and they play down for that.
Absolutely, it's a huge thing, and I mean, you talk to anybody that's been in it or is in Australia, it's a huge event, and it's at Tweed Heads. And I know I'm pretty sure Ryan has a big golden, or he used to, on his table, the trophy. So or a golden nugget, whatever it is.
Yeah, I watched a few of the games there. They have a very good live stream for it. So if you are wanting to check out the games, they have them on YouTube. So I would recommend checking out the live streams from the game. There's some really good back and forth games. Like I think Ryan played Wedlock, and it was like a 25-24 game. And then there's a couple other really close ones up along the semifinals to the championship. There's some really good games you'd be able to watch. If we're passing along the winners, the winner of the men's was Aaron Sheriff. He ended up taking out Gary Kelly in the final 25-23. So that was a really good game in the final there. Specifically, if you want to check that one out, I would recommend it. And then the women's was won by Kelsey Cottrell. She also won 25-23 against Jamie Lee Worstep. So again, two really close finals there. Pretty much the long-standing, very high performers of the Jackaroo squad. I guess Aaron and Kelsey both played very well in that. I think they both won the Australian Open as well fairly recently. So they've both had very good years this season bowling. So it was great to see them successful again, and I know the gold nugget's a big deal to everyone in Australia there, so congrats to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, the argument you could throw out there is, Aaron Wilson won the Com Games gold, but who is the current best bowler in Australia, right? I think we threw that around, and I had to throw in Aaron Sheriff. He had the indoor-outdoor singles win and the gold nugget. I mean, those are some huge fields to go through and win, and he did all three.
Yeah, no, I think we had a back and forth, me and you, just in our sort of group chat. We have, what we're not making the show is who's the better singles result, like winning the Com Games or winning all of these in domestic things. So it's really good that he was able to rattle off those, because I know maybe not being on the national team anymore, like Jackaroo's squad, it's something he's still obviously a very competitive player and putting up good results despite not being on that Jackaroo's squad anymore.
Yeah.
So is that all we wanted to cover? Feels like it's a whirlwind. Feels like we've been talking forever.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm good.
Perfect. Yeah, it was a long time between shows, but we're glad we're able to cover it. Daryl and me were able to enjoy our summers and not have to worry about figuring out how to do a show with one of us maybe in Europe and one of us in Canada, or doing a show together in person, which would have been possible, but I think we were bowling, or I was bowling, so it just never really worked for us to do it. So it's great we're able to do this now and sort of catch up. And I guess we're getting near the end of the bowl season here. So if there are any results you want us to share on the show, we're going to try and get back to our normal, probably every 2 weeks, doing a show here and pass on any results that do happen. So send anything you want us to cover to us. We'll definitely give it some coverage and get people excited for the end of the year here and moving on into the winter.
Yeah, we've got some cool stuff coming down. Keep your eye out for videos for, obviously Mike gave a little preview that they might be coming out with a post-nationals talk with him and Al. So cool stuff coming out, and we're working on this stuff, seeing if we can get some merch out for you guys to enjoy, and we'll keep you posted on that as well.
Yeah, definitely keep an eye on that. I know you've been putting in some work in the background on getting the merch ready, so it's going to be coming pretty soon. We've got a lot of exciting stuff where we've kind of had designs that we've been throwing together, the two of us and Luke a bit too. Just designs and sort of things related to bowls that we're going to put on shirts and things like that. So hopefully we'll do a reveal maybe on one of the shows and show you our different logos and the different ways you could purchase it in the near future here.
Awesome.
So I guess if that's it, we'll wrap it up for here today. Just one last reminder to like, comment, subscribe. You can check this out after the fact, podcasting or on YouTube. So any sort of support helps us out. So please hit that like button if you can. And with that, may all your bowls be touchers.